where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sandobi hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Poleski goes, dives onto the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys. Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Poleski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the left car and around those at the same time. At the same time. Scott inside corner of Willie Red curb. Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Vito Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
Halfway, and the season of waiting and patience is upon us, moving from small time to one of the most competitive leagues in the world of sim racing. What more can you say about this? It has got 3 different winners in the first 5 rounds of the championship, because halfway, well, it takes us to the beautifully underused circuit. It's the Spiderweb. It's Spiderweb time. And it's round 6 of the CTC Lotus 79 series on iRacing Live and the Global Sim Racing channel, sorry. And we're going from beautiful Barber Motorsports Park. Well, good morning, race fans, to the countdown to green and the series that has proven not to count your chickens until the coop has been shut. I am your host for today, Mr. #DoYouMind himself and observer of sim racing, Jake Sperry, ever being mindful of the intensity that this racing brings. Joining me, though, is the road dog to my billy gun, Sean Crackers Ambrose. Amjad Yamin will be on camera duty for this evening as the legendary Dougie the Beard has provided said cameras. But Sean, we are in the spider's web and entangled in a mire of technical cornering. This track has always seen some classics, with series such as IndyCar featuring very frequently. Not too different then, shall we say, to the Lotus in some respects.
Not too different indeed, Jake. And you know, the elevation and camber here play major roles on this track now. Barber Motorsports Park is a multi-purpose racing facility that opened in 2003. With 740 spacious acres of rolling countryside in Leeds, Alabama. The track is narrow with passing opportunities in short supply. The track itself measures 2.38 miles, 3.83 kilometers, and includes 16 turns. Yes, 16 on this little circuit. It's fast, it's a short track, and it's tough. But the best way to get an idea of what this place is really like is to jump on board the GSRC Lotus 79 and take a lap around Barber Motorsports Park.
All right, we've got Amjad Yamin in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Barber. Down into turn 1, you'll be carrying a ton of speed, so it's very tough to execute passes into here. You'll need to be on your toes too, because it leads directly into the Alabama roller coaster. This is a long, undulating double apex bend. The exit here is extremely important as well, because a bad run could put you under threat into the next corner. Charlotte's Web is easily the most common place for overtakes on the circuit, but the dip downhill right as you hit the left pedal means braking late could leave you coming in too hot. To add to the difficulty, the corner opens up on the exit, so steering and finding traction will be tricky. Drift the car off to the left, and then you've got the notorious museum corner to tackle. You're braking and turning while the car gets light, but you're also threading the needle between these curves. The compression at the bottom of the hill should make finding the power a little easier, but right away, the back half of the course is unrelenting. 10 and 11 need a lot of precision and bravery to stay flat-footed. There's just no downtime around this track, and it's only a short blast up to 12 and 13. Drivers are fully committed plunging the car into here, and you'll see competitors of all skill levels have trouble keeping the car straight coming over this crest. Now you're into 14 and 15, which act as one continuous curve. Hug the inside of 15 to set yourself up better for the final corner. There's some banking here, but it's surprisingly easy to understeer off into the grass. Hopefully you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Barber.
And there we see the GSRC Lotus 79 having a nice little trip around Barber Motorsports Park. Now, the Drivers' Championship, always a hot point of contention when it comes to series like these. And, well, the lead for Nuno Moreira has been slashed by a third to under 70 points as Gernot Fritsche, the 13-time CTC champion, has brought the title closer, as has Kaya Ruokola in third. However, with Gernot being a part of a Daytona effort this weekend, is he going to sacrifice this race in terms of a result, Sean?
Well, you know what? I don't see him here. I'm looking up and down the grid, and it is absent of Gernot Fritsche, so that very well could be a huge hit. Am I mistaken, Jake? Do you see him anywhere?
I don't even see the driver of Nuno Moreira, so that's going to be the top two aren't here, and I don't think we even have Kaya Ruokola either. So the top three in the championship have decided, nope, time for a holiday, time for different people to go and impress. But the team's championship, Ferrari has closed the gap, has had the gap closed, to just 21 points now as the team of Ruokola and Konechny made their balance of vowels and consonants value up to second position. The Constructors' title, a massive vault up for them here, Sean, and it's not open. Well, it's not over.
No, not at all. I mean, look at Marlboro McLaren there in third, just a point back. And honestly, that team of Nuno, they've fallen down. Shadow Racing's down in the points, but they're in striking distance there with 34 points. So, and of course, Fritsche and Valimaki there, Elf Team Tyrell, they're down the board, but they're only 2 points back from fourth. So, very, very tight here at the top.
It is, as qualifying right now is underway. You've got 8 minutes and 2 laps to do at a circuit which is just 71 seconds in time. Fabian Gerber, though, having a good run of things right now in 6th position in the 5 machine. Rounds the final corner, turn 15 out on circuit. Drive then to the line from him, and well, it's a 112.1, which is an improvement, but does not improve any time overall when it comes to the laps. So everybody getting a little bit worried here at this stage. Richard Borchers, though, what a qualifying Richard Borchers is having in the 11 machine. He rounds himself through the final corner, making that charge to the line. And Richard Borchers here, Sean, looking for opportunities to go even quicker. He just is out of reach of doing so.
Boy, he just nicked it, didn't he? Yeah, and another driver had a great second lap. It was Michel Vandenberg, who got himself there in second on that front row with his second lap, a 1:11.7.
Yeah, he's done brilliantly. There's only one driver who is currently out on a lap and will have another lap afterwards. That's Pablo Lumbueras then in the number 8 machine. He's needing to make some opportunities through this very tricky section of circuit there. It was flat out through the lefts and rights, the downforce coming into play, but you then have to lift for this next left-right, which seems so similar on paper, Sean, but is massively different in terms of its characteristics to the first.
Yeah, definitely massively is a good word for this track. And boy, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is a driver's track, Jake. Many challenges here for these drivers. Never a good one for me, but honestly, turn 1, 2 down through that carousel. What a way to get a lap started here.
Yeah, what a way indeed. Pablo Lumbueras comes across the line. He's P16 on a 113.4, so he's struggling then in the early stages. He makes the run to turn 5, one of the overtaking opportunities. I never get the numbering here because this is turn 5, A, B, C. Every small little kink counts as an extra little corner when it comes to here, but then you head through a small kink there of 6, and now you're heading to 7, then 7A, which is down the hill, 7B is the right, then you got turn 8, then you got turn 8A, and then you're just trying to keep up with all the corners that you're doing. I swear to... did someone fall asleep on the keyboard trying to number this and they start putting letters in here, Sean?
I think so. I just saw Thomas Hedstrom, who was trying to get his qualifying lap, said something about the rest of the drivers must be on a shorter layout than he was, and wanted to know where the shortcut was. Certainly plenty of places to turn here, and it could be easy to get turned around on this circuit.
It certainly could. A lot of corners as the final attempt from Pablo Lumbueras comes to line. 113.4 to beat. He does improve to a 113 flat. That's good enough for the 7th row. Then up on the grid, everybody done in qualifying. The grid will be as follows. Matt Wood, an expert in qualifying terms, the Mark Webber of this field. He is on pole position, 111.738. He will want to convert that to a win, but don't count out Michel Vandenberg. He's in the championship picture in second, as is Gerd Hofer in third. So Hofer will be looking to really capitalize on a weaker field today. Richard Borchers will qualify in fourth position with Juha Noralampi, the preacher, in position number 5, struggling today. Fabian Gerber alongside in 6th. Adam Fraser will start from 7th with Matt O'Donnell in 8th. 9th will go to Nicola Kochi and Barry West, good old Bristolian Barry West in the top 10 there, Sean.
All right, and in 11th, it's going to be Mark Winfield. In 12th today, it'll be QC Clapp, rounding out row 6. Row 7, Pablo Lombardo Suarez. And next to him, going to have Daniel Banker. Paolo Alberton in 15th, and rounding out row 8, Kendrick Taylor. Row 9, Keith Herner, Robert Simpkins. And row 10, Tony Tiolas and Danielle Guttuso.
And then looking at the next drivers, you got Jason Wallart in 21st, Fabio Guerrero, Steve Sarles, Robert Cottle, Adnan Dizdarovich, with Andrew Eng, and Thomas Hedström, rounding out 27 drivers then on this grid. And, well, you've only got so much time to make something happen. 2 minutes to get up, or you start from the dreaded place that is known as Pit Road. And, well, I have to say it is going to be very nice to see some very important drivers going through. And that includes the true racer as well of Matt O'Donnell. We'll see what he will do in terms of broadcasted appearance here today. Still waiting, though, for a couple of drivers to get onto the grid. One of them, Michel Vandenberg. You see Matt Wood at the front of the field. The left side of the circuit is the inside for 1, but the outside line for 2, 3, and 4 on circuit. So that's going to be a nightmare for the driver of Matt Wood. He has to cut off the line through 1 to make things happen. But everybody up on the grid then. Engine notes will start to rise as we will take 35 laps today. Let's get ourselves underway then, and let's get ourselves going. Great start from Noralampi. Big spin already into turn 1. Massive wreck going forward, and that is a huge incident that's happened. And it's so easy just to be so aggressive and have the vehicle spin on you. It's going to be the first 6, 7 that gets away. Matt Wood's clear, but look at this one here, Sean. Battle for second. Hofer going at it with Vandenberg, and Vandenberg on the inside defending for now.
Vandenberg trying to do something with that great qualifying effort and make it stick. And he got away really, really well. But boy, there were a lot of drivers, about 5 drivers involved in that there at the back. QC Clapp and Fabian Gerber, Barry West were 3 of them. Steve Sarles also involved in that. 4 drivers severely affected by that opening mess.
And it was all down to Borchers because he started to lose the vehicle on the power. It drifted to the right and then back across to the left, collecting 4, 5, 6 vehicles, and that is not what you want to see from the start. And I think Richard Borchers is just going to try and drag that vehicle home. It has massively altered how the field looks, and this is the replay of the start and a huge incident. You'll see Borchers just gets massive torque in those rear tyres, and he's unable to control it.
Yeah, and you get everybody spinning and dodging for cover. Here's that start again. Borchers there in number 11. And that car just snaps. Too much power too soon.
Too much too soon and too much to work with, though. The field, though, has had a lot of change inside the top 10. Pablo Lumbueras, 13th to 6th. Daniel Banker, 14th to 8th, and under pressure now from Nicola Kochi is round. And there's another incident. Tiolis has been collected. That was Kendrick Taylor in the 15. He was +6. Big spin at 5. So easy just to loop that vehicle around and replay on screen.
Boy, all within the first couple laps there. Trouble for Taylor. Boy, just nowhere to go.
No, he had no opportunities there. The vehicle just snapped, and that was not the thing that wanted to happen. The true racer, though, Matt O'Donnell in the 13. He's looking at Lumbueras here. Opportunity for position number 6 out on circuit, and Lumbueras pushes incredibly wide through turn 14, heading to turn 15, and Matt O'Donnell now right on the attack. Defensive line taken into turn 1.
Yeah, and there he goes. O'Donnell takes a look, and then the car starts to slide on him. Has to get out of it. Gets it back under control right in the wake.
Well, he's got it under control. He's now got to go on the offensive here as he runs into turn number 5. He'll go the long way around, look to up and under, doesn't get that ability down, and that is not a move that's done. And what I find surprising about all these moves is the track isn't hot. It's like an average 31 degrees C for me. That will be about, what, 80 Fahrenheit for you there, Sean? It's not really a circuit that screams spinning.
Not really, Jake. It is not, but yeah, it's 94 degrees on track today, and that is awful slick here at Barber Motorsports Park. Partly cloudy outside.
Yeah, it's just a very easy one, isn't it? It's so easy just for things to go wrong. At the front, though, we have neglected it a little bit, but Matt Wood is not safe. He's under pressure. Michel Vandenberg, Gerd Hofer, Juha Noralampi. The top 4 split by just 1.25 seconds then as they cross the start-finish line, or 1.5 seconds, sorry, as they now head into the long 270-degree right-hander. Reminds you of a circuit like the Shanghai International Circuit that's run in Formula 1, Sean. The way that this corner just keeps going on and on and on and on and on, and it's just a killer of tires.
It is the never-ending corner. It's a good comparison, Jake.
Oh, it certainly is. Matt Wood, Vandenberg, Hofer, and Noralampi. And, well, it's now about how do you manage certain areas as Keith Herner now becomes a man under pressure. Daniele Gattuso in the 17 wants to go to the inside, but look how deep Herner's gone through the mid part of the corner, trying to attack Tony Tiolis. That's not worked for him. So now he's going to have to be defensive here with Daniele Gattuso, looking for the inside potentially at 7 and 8. That's not going to work. As much more confident on the brakes there is the driver of Keith Herner. You can see it's so much of a difference maker when you can just hit the brakes that bit later by 5-10 meters.
Tiola's carrying a little bit of damage on the rear wing of that car. That's got to be affecting his ability to turn just a bit. Herner, wise to stay on it and stay with him here. Boy, doesn't get a good trip through, though. Daniele Gattuso right there on Herner.
Oh, and Wood's off. Wood's off at turn 1, so he may have just got away with it, the nature of turn 2, because Vandenberg was under pressure from Gerd Hofer side-by-side through 1. So that was a getaway there for Matt Wood. Look at Hofer now, trying to make the move for position number 2. It doesn't happen, but look at how that just bunches up the entire field again. Matt Wood's under pressure. It
really, really did. A small mistake from Matt Wood opens up opportunity behind him here for these 3. Still charging strong. It looks like Nuno right now. I'm sorry, not Nuno, but Juha Noralampi back there being the patient one here early. Well, maybe not. Ooh, gets a bit of a run there, and Gerd Hofer does not make contact with him, though.
No, he doesn't. And, well, he was close there, was Juha Noralampi, and that puts us even. Vehicle spun, though, at turn number 5. Didn't quite get a look at who it was. I believe that it was Dizarevic.
It was Adnan Dizarevic. Looked like it was a self-spin.
It was. And there was no contact from Paolo Alberton as well. Alberton just had to take the long way around, and this is not a Herman Tilke design track, so down at the hairpin, he's got grass and dirt all over his tyres. Coach, he's turned around, though, and he's at the pit entry. Well, you're going to see it, Sean. Turn 14, you know, people take it for granted. It's not as easy as people first think.
No, and it looks like he just gets caught out there a little bit too far to the left, and it spins it around, but does a great job of getting back out on the track without hitting anybody.
Yeah, and we missed the pass for the lead as well, and Matt Wood will be very frustrated because he was forced onto grass, and then Juha Noralampi was forced on the grass through turn 12. So replay of this. So this was Vandenberg down to the inside at turn 1. He hangs the man out to dry of Matt Wood. Wood comes back on, trying to get back with the group. Contact with Noralampi, and Noralampi is bumped off the train. No Lord will save you from that one.
On board here with Juha.
And you're just going to see this, Sean. He's just going to go through turn number 1. Back onto circuit comes Matt Wood. And Wood just encroaches up the circuit, trying to be aggressive.
Yeah, Juha not going to be very happy about that.
And
still manages to hang on there to the 3rd.
Yeah,
just gets it back from Wood.
Yeah, and I think Wood's just slowed down to let that position back through. So that's very good driving standards there from Matt Wood to let that position go through. But what this means for the championship now, it's a dogfight between Hofer and Vandenberg. And already on lap 7, we're having traffic.
Yeah, and that's going to be our drivers who...
Whoa, that's O'Donnell around. Man, big incident down at turn 4. That's huge. In the replay, he was ahead of a train of 4, getting on the power, heading through the left-hander, just tyres on the grass. So easy to do, and he's so lucky that he's not caught anybody else in that incident.
Well, who did get caught up in it was Kochi and Simpkins just trying to get around that. It sent both cars out into the grass. There they are, coming back up on track.
And, well, we said that there was next to no action when it came to the circuit prior that we went to. It seems that they're trying to make up for that and a little bit more here today, as everybody seemingly puts themselves under pressure as the front 4 still remains Vandenberg, Hofer, Noralampi and Wood. Adam Fraser, though, with all this battling that's been going on, he's been so quiet in the opening 5th of this event. He's now suddenly in the picture when it comes to the battle for the top 5.
You know what? That's a great observation because I was watching Fraser before all of that broke loose, and Fraser's done a great job to get this race started, claimed 2 spots up to 5th, and right now doesn't have to worry about any threat from behind. He can work on finding Matt Wood.
And I'll tell you someone else who's really taken advantage of all of this. He's certainly going to cash in a check at the end of this event. Daniel Banker is up 8 positions here, Sean.
Put it in the bank, Jake. He is stocking piles of cash right now, buddy, and looking for a little more. Now he's got almost 13 seconds to get to the top 5, but right now little threat from behind. Nicola Kochi behind him, but I think Nicola dealing with some damage. In fact, he is on the front wing of his Lotus, and that could spell trouble here at Barber Motorsports Park.
Especially at a circuit which is so downforce dependent as this one, you've got to make sure that you're keeping yourself in play. Battle at the front though, Gerd Hofer behind by just 3.5 tenths of a second to Michael Vandenberg, who leads the event in the Ferrari. Vandenberg taking that wider track, really maximising the run there through 3 and in through 4 as well. So Gerd Hofer needs to work a way to get past Vandenberg here to take some vital points away in terms of the championship perspective. Daniel Banker under pressure as Kochi goes down to the inside and re-inherits position number 6 without any worries at all.
Yeah, Kochi taking that back. I really thought it would be hard for him to pass with the wing bent up the way it is. He finds his opportunity, gets around, and again, Daniel Banker dealing with some damage of his own, which could make that car hard to turn. So those both at a disadvantage, but both still holding good position on track.
They are, as Keith Herner behind that is looking to pressure Robert Simpkins. Simpkins having a fantastic run here in 8th position as they head through the rights and lefts. And you can see Simpkins was more aggressive with the curb when it came to turn 7A. That was enough to straight line the circuit to give Keith Herner a drop of about 2 tenths of a second through that section alone.
You know, Matt Wood has really lost touch, Jake. I'm watching him now falling here. Almost 2.5 seconds behind you on Noralampi. Matt's suffering tremendously since the start of this race.
Well, you need to look at the front left of that wing because it is bent up slightly, and that front left is dealing with all the right-handed corners, and that makes life incredibly difficult for the driver of Matt Wood to survive. And we say this every single time. Matt Wood is one of the best qualifiers in this series, but when it comes to race pace, he just can't seem to hang with these drivers, and this is what Matt Wood needs to work on.
Possibly improvements for seasons to come, but not helping him much here today. Matt Wood struggling to keep touch with the podium right now.
And while talking about this podium, Hofer will sit and Hofer will wait. Lap 10 of 35 then as he heads into the right-hander there of turn number 12, into the right of 13, followed up by the right of 14, and going deep in on the brakes he looks, but you really have to be side by side through that section to have an opportunity at making that move. As he rounds turn 15, looks to start another lap, but just isn't quite close enough at this stage to really get on the binders, to really get aggressive and make some moves that he needs to be doing. And I think Gerd Hofer knows that he can sit and bide his time, but for how long? Because the driver of Noralampi closed 4 tenths of a second on the driver of Hofer, 6 tenths of a second on Vandenberg last lap.
Chipping away at it here a little bit. Couple of battles deep in the pack, Jake. Richard Borchers, who had trouble on that start, being chased right now by Daniele Gattuso. And both cars have a fair amount of damage. It's going to keep them probably a little bit off pace, and tough to make up any ground outside where they're at right now.
Well, it really does show, because the 150 or the 112s that we're seeing from the front of the field, these are 116s that Borchers and co are doing. So big differences in terms of time. Yeah. Gattuso with a 16.3 that last time by. You know, when you're running 4 or 5 seconds a lap slower, that's also a nightmare for the traffic to deal with here. If you're 4 or 5 seconds a lap slower, that's going to be really tough for Vandenberg, Hoferer, et al. To really try and get through and negotiate.
And we've already put down 12 laps, Jake. Working on 12 laps right now. So this race going away quickly. And if you're looking to make up time, you've probably lost an opportunity to make it up here already early on in this race. It will not take long for them to catch the back of the field.
No, it won't. And also, you talk about the amount of people who are already out of this event. You're talking about a third of the field right now. I mean, drivers who are out, QC Clapp, you look at Fabian Gerber, Barry West, Pablo Lumbueras, Matt O'Donnell, just to name a few. Big names all dropping out quickly, and that is enough to really put a lot of people under pressure when it comes to this championship. These team points, they are going to have a massive swing because of the amount of drivers who are out and that amount of drivers who will then pick up more points because of it.
You know what? Great point, Jake. Today is going to be costly to some. It's going to be a big reward to others that did make it and taking advantage of their run right now. I looked at people like Nicola Cocci, who finds himself there in 6th right now and having a good run and maybe even a little bit more in front of him. I don't know. We'll see if Frazier can be the driver that he's been to start this race and hang on to that 5th spot. Got a pretty good advantage right now on everybody else behind him.
Yeah, he's got 13 seconds back then to Nicola Cocci. The difference when they last crossed the line was 0.2 of a second. I don't see a move happening between the two of them, so we'll just check an eye on Nicola Cocci, the Italian's time. So we'll see what the 6 can do in terms of a retrospective. His last lap was a 13.7. It's now a 13.3, so he actually put a second there on the driver of Adam Frazier. So Frazier's got to be careful. That can be caught if a second a lap is continuing. But suddenly, Michel Vandenberg is finding a whole slew of pace, and Hoferer is starting to fall back now into the clutches of Nora Lampe.
Yeah, and that's not good for those guys, because Vandenberg seems to have found the car and found his stride right now. And that, boy, that's trouble for Jared and Juha. Juha just, I go back to what I said in the beginning. Right now, looks to be the patient one in this field.
Yeah, he does, and that was all down to a mistake at turn 5, 5A, 5B, 5C, if you want to be the Jackson 5. But Jared Hoferer has been a little bit inconsistent there. The gap opens. It's now 0.9 of a second. He's starting to fall outside of slipstream range. And whilst you don't use slipstream as much at this circuit, you know that you want it just to make sure that you gain that extra 1/10 of a second here and there that keeps you in the scrap. Herner now under pressure as Mark Winfield wants to get into the scrap for the top 10.
Look at that Winfield pushing right now, putting that pressure on Keith Herner. Trying to trick him into a mistake, possibly putting a little bit of pressure on him there.
Well, I think Keith Herner's got to be a quick learner, as he knows that Mark Winfield wants to be the aggressor. And you can see how Winfield was a lot more patient, a lot more gathered together through the opening section. You're seeing Keith Herner push right to the limits of the circuit to try and extract as much pace as possible. That's showing you Mark Winfield has something left in the tank if he is not being aggressive.
Boy, their time's really, really close on that last lap there, separated by just a couple of hundredths.
Couple of hundredths here and there. That's all it sometimes needs to be to keep yourself involved in the event. But to Juha Noralampi, a driver who, has been dealing with health issues, is now looking to be on the other side of it and is really looking to try and be aggressive and make a push up through the field. He knows that he can sit and wait though at this stage. We're lap 15 of 35, half distance in the next 2-3 laps or so. He knows that Gerd Hoferer could make mistakes if he's not too careful. He's seen already a half look, and there's traffic in front in the form of Daniele Gattuso. I think he wants to start being, proactive, starting to maybe change his line a little bit to get into the mirrors of the driver of Gerd Hoferer.
Does the Preacher have the strength to forge on and get to the top of this podium? We're going to find out. But Jake, I mean, we're already looking at close to halfway here. Talked about how short this circuit was, when it only takes about 1 minute and 12 seconds to get around. That's gives you a really, really good idea of what we're looking at here at Barber Motorsports. And you know what, this track with its 16 turns, you know, again, that's a lot of turning. You're really very few opportunities to really explore the power of the Lotus 79 on this track wide open.
Yeah, you don't have many chances to rest in a machine like this, and well, there will be a lot of drivers looking for a rest after this racing. Mark Winfield still stuck behind Keith Herner. The battle for 9th and 10th out on circuit, and look how close Winfield is, heading to the left, right. In fact, Herner's going to go incredibly deep through the right-hander, and that's going to allow maybe Winfield an opportunity through the next right. Doesn't take the opportunity, opens up the corner, but again, no chance for Winfield to dive down the inside. Winfield has had opportunity, but I think he's very content to wait.
You know, I wonder if Winfield right now, you know, we haven't seen much of him. I wonder, Jake, if he's trying to find the line he needs to get by. Maybe a little inexperience here at this track has made it difficult for him to figure out a way to get around Keith Herner.
Yes, it is worth noting that Barber Motorsports Park is not the most religiously run circuit on iRacing calendars, so that's something just to keep in mind as Nora Lampe closing in again on Gerd Hoferer. But the big issue that Nora Lampe has is that Hoferer has the draft of Michael Vandenberg in front. In fact, you could say Nora Lampe is being dragged into Michael Vandenberg. The top three are split by just 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, we've got quite a podium brewing for you folks. I don't think those spots are going to end up like we're seeing them right now. I just have a feeling something's got to give. And Juha Nora Lampe maybe not looking so patient anymore, looking for a move here that's going to get him in front of Gerd Hoferer.
Well, he's doing all the things I said that I should suggest for him. He's changing his line now. He's looking at the inside going, hello, yes, I can make a move if I want to here, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to look for you to try and give that opportunity later on in the event. And that's very crucial when you get to racing, is that you look for chances, and sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. Mark Winfield, though, he's completely dropped off the back of Keith Herner. That was down at turn number 1. I wonder if we could get a replay of this, because he was into the corner, and that was massive. And there's a spinner elsewhere. And that's Herner. So Winfield's going to take advantage, both of them making mistakes. That was an unforced error from Keith Herner there, Sean.
Yeah, it certainly was, and a costly one, obviously. Winfield going to take advantage of that.
And that's the nature of turn 5, because you go down into a bowl and back up it again. It's very similar to Tozer. If you can't put the power down properly on the exit of the corner, it's so easy to turn it around. Even Gerd Hoferer has fallen foul of it today.
Throttle management, man. It's all about the throttle management down through there.
Oh, it most certainly is. As down into 7 and 8 go your leading 3, Vandenberg, Hoferer, and Nora Lampe. 3 different categories of vehicle, 3 different drivers looking for an opportunity of victory. And I'll tell you something, there's only one race winner this season in this top 3, and that's Michael Vandenberg. And how desperately does Vandenberg want to take another race victory? Or will it be 4 in 6? Nora Lampe gets a big wiggle there through turn number 12, and that's going to cost him big time on the battle in for the lead.
Yeah, it really did. The Preacher having a moment there. Going to have to take a moment to breathe and recover. So we've passed the halfway point.
Amen.
Time to get busy, boys.
Amen for Nora Lampe. He needs to now ask for a bit of divine intervention, it seems, at this stage of the event. Keep your eyes peeled. This race, even though we've lost quite a few drivers, it is still on a knife edge for a lot of people. But I want to go back to the incident that we saw between Herner and Winfield. Winfield ran wide at turn 1, and that turn 1 is so difficult, Sean, because of the fact that there is grass. Then there is asphalt to run off into, not Herman Tilke at all. And arguably, that's the way it should be with racing circuits.
Yeah, no, you know what, Jake? I totally agree with you. You know, we talked about it at the Open. what a way to start a race, down into turn 1 and getting through that carousel. It's a good opening segment to what is a great little circuit here in Alabama.
Yeah, and well, that is certainly going to be something very interesting just to keep an eye out on as traffic comes into play with Jason Wallart there in terms of this race. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are going to do is that we are having a couple of technical issues on our end, so we will be back in the next couple of minutes or so. You are watching the CTC Lotus 79 series from the circuit of Barber Motorsports Park. Apologies there for 1/35 of the race being missed then from you guys, as well, nothing much has changed then in the last one lap that we've seen, except for the fact that Michel Vandenberg has extended the gap now to 0.7 of a second more traffic now, as Adnan Dezarevic, the driver who is up 12 positions now, becomes the latest victim on the lapping train of Michel Vandenberg. And that's crucial because he's suddenly gone from being defensive driving here, Sean, to now suddenly being in offensive driving mode. Vandenberg, Hofer, and Nora Lampe, your top 3 as things stands.
Yeah, but Vandenberg has got some traffic in front of him he's going to have to deal with now. In fact, right in front of him is the Lotus 79 of Adnan Dezarevic, and right in front of him, Fabio Guerrero.
And Guerrero can't afford to slow down. Oh my goodness me, he lost 1 position there. He was trying to let the traffic through. He let the position through, so gift for the driver of Dezarevic, and that could have easily gone wrong. Here comes Nora Lampe, though, to the outside as he looks to go for the inside. Side by side, they'll stay. And look at that, Hofer trying to get the up and under, but there's no chance on these curves. And again, he just gets very squirrely, and just like that, Nora Lampe up into second, Vandenberg gone.
And Nuha kind of uses Adnan as a pick there to make that move open up for him there and get around Gert Hofer. Great move by the Preacher.
Oh, it was, and that's all he needed to do. So now the question can be, can Nora Lampe find the times that he was doing earlier on in this event to bring back Michel Vandenberg? Vandenberg's fastest lap of the day so far is a 1:12.333. A 1:12.1 is on Nora Lampe's quickest pace, so we know Nora Lampe is the faster man when it comes to one-lap pace. And Nora Lampe needs to tap into the form that he had last season when he was picking up victories and challenging the likes of Moreira and Sergio Macias.
Yeah, it was a big question whether or not he'd make it this week. It's great to have him here and a great podium effort. Now he's got to get busy and go catch Michel Vandenberg. And the 1:13 that he had previously, not going to cut it. Vandenberg up there running 1:12s.
Well, that is certainly going to be very key. 1:12s needed to be had. The difference 1.8 seconds then in terms of the timing between them, as Robert Simpkins now starts to think about trying to attack Daniel Banker for position number 7. And Robert Simpkins plus 10, only 2 seconds back here, Sean. Robert Simpkins has really impressed me today.
Yeah, Simpkins up those 10 spots into 8th, and it's been all about putting in the work. Simpkins really one of the drives of the day right now.
And it's worth...
Go ahead.
Go on. No, after you.
No, I was just saying, he really putting in the work here, and, you know, there's more in store for him. Daniel Banker looking over his shoulder, a little bit of pressure for him right now as Simpkins continues to make this charge through the field.
Exactly, and that's going to be crucial because all these points come into play, and when you remember what happened on the opening lap of this event, Richard Borchers, you could argue to the phrase, to borch the start, he ended up putting everybody in a situation where 5, 6, 7 vehicles out of the event in the opening lap. That's not what everybody wanted to see, but I think for drivers at the back of the field, they have really taken advantage of this today. Even drivers like Andrew Eng, who was involved early in incidents, he may be 4 laps down, but he's still plus 7. Someone like Thomas Heldstrom, who was, 8 seconds off of the pace in qualifying? He's up there in 18th position, having a fantastic run.
Our leaders right now coming around, Tony Teolis. He was one of those drivers that had trouble there off the start, out there still getting his way around, but the leaders get past, and Hofer maybe starting to lose touch here with Juha just a little bit.
Well, he's being dragged along, and he's been dragged along very well. It's a 13.8 from Vandenberg, 13.5 from Nora Lampe, 12.8 from Hofer. So, Sean, I'm going to counteract that. Hofer is the fastest man of the 3.
Yeah, Yeah, I obviously wasn't looking at the timing and scoring when I said that, but yeah, he is definitely on it right now.
He is on it. You can see just how close he is there to Juha Noralampi. And these curbs that they have here at Barber, they are not high. They are not curbs that are normally what you'd call, you know, anti-cutting. But when you get on them, the amount of grip that you actually get from them, they're fantastically designed.
Yeah, they really are. And, you know, I'm glad you brought that up because the curbs here are a great opportunity to find grip. And let's face it, with the track temperature we looked at earlier, 94 degrees, grip is your friend here, and you want to find it anywhere you can get it. And off the top of those curbs, not always a bad spot.
Not always a bad spot indeed. Into turn 14, looking for the final corner as well. Not quite happening just yet for Gerd Hofra, who knows he will be hemorrhaging points to the likes of Michiel Vandenberg if things stay the way they do. And Vandenberg has responded on this lap with a 1:12.2. Issue is, Noralampi's responded with a 1:12.1, so the gap comes down to 1.1, and Noralampi wants to get that draft to gain those times to bring Hofra back in with him.
Well, you know, it took 25 laps, but it looks like a few drivers are finally starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm. And yeah, you could refer to this track as being a little bit of a rhythm track. It really helps to get into one here.
It does, and well, Robert Simpkins is trying to close down this gap to Daniel Banker, but that gap just seemingly stretching out a little bit there. Banker doing enough then to hold off position number 7, and Daniel Banker will take a whole wealth of points, and not just points here today. iRating and safety racing come into play.
Yeah, we've always got to remember that iRating and safety rating. This is not a league event. This is an official event. And a lot at stake, more than just championship points here.
Oh, there always is, as rounding 14 and 15 once again to end lap 25, start lap 26. Juha Noralampi and Gerd Hofra on the chase, on the case, looking for an opportunity to get back to Vandenberg, who responds with his own 1:12.1. And it seems that Hofra now starting to struggle as he's 7/10 back from Noralampi. This is Vandenberg having to run qualifying-esque style laps. He's only 0.4 of a second off of his pole time. That's how much he's pushing.
Jake, I got to admit, this is a sprint race today. After being part of the Daytona 24, the premier endurance event, I can't believe this race is almost over. We're under 10 laps now.
And, well, no spoilers on that, but if things went the same way as the final lap of that event, then you're certainly going to be seeing some fireworks come the end of this race as Noralampi's trying desperately to bring himself into play. The next traffic up ahead for Michiel Vandenberg will be Robert Cottle in 17th position, who would go 2 laps down, running 1:19 times, currently out on circuit. So Vandenberg trying everything to extend the gap, and I think he's doing a very good job just keeping out of arm's reach Juha Noralampi. It's so difficult to do as Noralampi misses the apex through 14, slightly compromises the run through 15, and now you're starting to see how Vandenberg is really making people pay. 1:12 flat, fastest lap of the day from the pair of them. Hofra with an 11.7. That was almost quicker than the pole time itself.
And you remember that great run we were talking about by Adam Frazier? Well, it's about to be interrupted. Nicola Kochi took a charge at him, and then, boy, almost really messed it up. Kochi has to get on the binders and practically stop the car in the middle of the track.
Well, the replay here that we're going to have of the Nicola Kochi incident, well, that was something very interesting to keep an eye out on, heading into the lefts and rights. And yeah, you're just seeing that right. He had to completely back out of it there, Sean, because of the fact that he was worried that he was going to completely pancake into Adam Frazier. And these vehicles, you could literally just brush up against them and something is going to be very fragile. That's the way that Colin Chapman liked to set up a Lotus. Light and fast. Reliability was the second thing you think of.
Well, Kochi went from being right up under the wing to Frazier to now being a second and a half. I almost said a minute and a half. A second and a half behind. All that work he'd put in to get in there is now laid to dust. And Frazier can get back to trying to have this quiet run. We used to have a nice drive through the Alabama countryside, and then all of a sudden, Kochi showed up. And now Kochi back trying to find that opportunity again. Running out of time to do it, though.
He is, as Robert Simpkins has got through on Daniel Banker. So Banker, Well, it seems that the bank is on the decline, it seems, as Robert Simpkins has gone through, and there's going to be no bailout there for Daniel Banker either, so that's something that he's just got to keep in mind. The gap at the front, though, is now under 1 second here for Juha Noralampi, pushing Michel Vandenberg as he took 0.3 of a second out on that last lap. We've been seeing the times fluctuate up and down, up and down. Hofer at the back, though, went fastest lap of the event 11.7, came back with a 12.4, and now is almost off the back here of Noralampi losing the draft. And Noralampi with a big wiggle again. And that's just how much they're pushing with just 7 laps to go as they cross.
Yeah, and a little bit of traffic to deal with here is Vandenberg coming up on Daniele Gattuso. Gattuso getting right out of the way.
No harm, no foul, out of the way, no issues at all there as the gap extends once again. Back up over a second, and that was an 11.8 from Hofer, an 11.9 from Vandenberg, and a 12 flat from Noralampi. So the margins are just so little as Vandenberg just keeps things out. Keith Herner, though, will be the next lap traffic vehicle. So even the top 10 is going to be lapped in this event. That just shows you how quick these drivers at the very top of the field can be.
Boy, they are just slaying it today, aren't they? Barber Motorsports Park providing a great venue for their prowess.
Oh, you bet it is, as Vandenberg chased by Noralampi, chased by Hofer, keeps on going. Matt Wood, though, he has been quiet, but he's kept him going all throughout this time in the event. Suddenly, though, we need to look at Nicola Cocci. He's brought his gap down under a second.
He recovered. It's good to see that he did, making things uncomfortable for our buddy Adam Frazier once again. There goes that stroll through the countryside there. He's still hanging on here, though.
Yeah, he's just got to hang on. He's got only a few laps left, so he'll hope that he has the opportunity to maintain a top 5 finish, a fabled top 5 finish. I think the word is going to be, as again that gap comes down underneath 1 second for Noralampi, as the gap between Noralampi and Hofer is now 1 second and 5 thousandths, a little bit more. So that's going to mean that Hofer becomes the man under pressure. Noralampi closing that gap 10th by 10th. He's got to be within about 0.4 of a second, though, Sean, to make that move, and that's the big issue, especially with 3 bits of traffic ahead: Eng, Hellstrom, and also Winfield in front.
Yeah, making it tough indeed. Nothing coming easy here today.
Oh, no, it's not. So you've got to make sure you are on your level best when you get to it. As you can see, Vandenberg being hounded now by Noralampi, closing the gap more and more as the traffic comes more into view. Eng on the exit there, on the apex, and you can see now how Noralampi closes that gap down from almost a second down to a little bit less. Big missed apex, though, from the driver of Michel Vandenberg. He's sitting duck now on the run to 1. Here comes the opportunity then for Noralampi, the one he's been waiting for all race long. Started 5th on the grid, half chance, not happening.
Here comes the preacher.
Here he comes. Well, he's going to go. And, well, you might need some Madonna songs right now, Michel Vandenberg, because like a prayer, you're going to have to defend this one here. Outside line, he's going to go. And look at this. He's going to hold it, but he's going to run deep, get a better run traction off of the exit. Reminds you of IndyCar on the run here to 7A, 7B. And I'm pretty sure Vandenberg's not going to give this one up for love nor money, but he's too far back. Juha Noralampi, just like that, up into position number 1.
Yes, sir. And, boy, Vandenberg may have a confession to make at the end of this one. He just got outdrove right there by Juha.
And you have to say the sin that Vandenberg committed was that he wasn't good enough through the traffic, and now he just needs to be the aggressor once again as they head through 14 into 13 into 14, sorry, and now turn 15, the final turn out on circuit. Noralampi wants to break away, but now suddenly Gerd Hofer needs to be his friend. If anything, I think Noralampi should back up the driver of Vandenberg into Hofer, give Hofer a chance. No move into 1. Hofer gets a little bit caught up in this as well. As Vandenberg attacks, he allows Noralampi a chance, and here we go, almost there. Contact between Vandenberg and Hofer. Hofer, go careful, buddy.
Yeah, and Hofer he's the big loser there because he's got to get all the way out of it.
And then he's got to get all the way back again. Remember, the lap prior, he was only 1.6 seconds back as they had to scrap through the traffic. So now Vandenberg gets a little bit of respite as now Nora Lampe becomes the man under pressure on the brakes down the hill. 7s and 8s they will go through. And Vandenberg now, where do you pick your moment if you are Vandenberg? Ita Kochi, though, he's right there in the battle for 5th.
I just picked that up. He is right there. Frazier putting in the hardest work of this race for him. He is really, really taxed. Kochi in his mirror, both mirrors. Kochi looking to the inside, not going to take it there.
Not yet anyway. And big slider, big tank slapper. He holds it together. He's fortunate he's got half a minute back to Robert Simpkins, but that could have just cost him a shot at the final position inside of the top 5. Nora Lampe, though, with just 3 laps to go, holds a 6/10 of a second lead over Michel Vandenberg. Vandenberg not giving this race up, but they're starting to hit some of the toughest traffic here because there's Winfield, Banker, and Simpkins here, all within the space of 5 seconds of each other. Each one of them could be the pick that Vandenberg or Hofer needs.
Well, what they need and what they get are 2 different things. And, boy, 3 laps to go. What are we going to get for a finish? It could be any one of these 3.
It certainly could, and remember, there's championship implications for all 3 of them. Nora Lampe hasn't raced much this season, but his points will come back later on when everybody else is using drop weeks. Vandenberg was up there. He won the first round of the season. He's been falling backwards ever since. Hofer has just been there quietly, collecting the points he's needed to go up, and you're seeing Nora Lampe now starting to stretch his legs, trying to break the spirit of Michel Vandenberg as Vandenberg worries about the Austrian behind. That is not named Gernot Friche. That is his heir apparent, Gerd Hofer, as they round themselves with 2 to go as they cross the line, and this gap now is just half a second.
2 laps to the promised land for the preacher.
2 laps, 2 chances. He needs something here, Sean. He needs arguably this gap or more to be safe.
And traffic's going to be a factor before this is over. He is coming up on Winfield, and you got Daniel Banker up there in front of him. I think these cars will be a factor before this is over with. Could be a chance here for Yuha to maybe set a pick and give himself a little bit more breathing room.
And the issue is, all 3 of them are in their own respective battles. So if they start getting into scraps in front, then what does Nora Lampe do? Because they have a right to battle in front. They have a right to run their own race. They head through the left-rights again of what is going to be turn numbers 9 and 10 into turn 11, and now up the hill through 12 they come along, looking for the right of 13, looking for the right of 14, and then looking for the left of 15 as well to start the white flag lap. As slightly wide there was the driver of Gerd Hofer. I think he's just lost his opportunity there to give himself a chance at racing for a victory, if not second position as well. The gap is 4/10 of a second then for Michel Vandenberg. Traffic goes hard to the outside in the form of Mark Winfield. Great driving from Winfield there on the outside to let everybody through safely. Next will come Daniel Banker, if they can catch him in time. And Nora Lampe doesn't want to. Vandenberg does, as they are nose to tail as they head into 5. A, B, and C, and you can see just how close it is as Sean starts worrying here to my right-hand side about the potential that goes on. Look at Vandenberg. Look at the way that he is going to try and get this one as close as he can. He's running out of chances. There was no chance into 7 and 8. He's now got to do it at turn 14. That's his last chance. Or get a run out of 12. That's his only opportunity. Banker is closing in front. Nora Lampe is safe for the time being, but Banker slows it just before, and that will be detriment to Michel Vandenberg because he knows that he's not close enough. Look at Hofer suddenly. Big wiggle from Michel Vandenberg. Hofer wants second position. This is the chance that Nora Lampe wanted. He will get 2 corners to go and 1 corner to go to make it happen. Big lunge there from Hofer. Doesn't happen. Juha Nora Lampe has done it, and he has done a fantastic drive. 5th to 1st, 2nd for Vandenberg. Hofer will finish in 3rd. Matt Wood will come home in 4th position overall, but look at P5. This one's so not done.
Kochi with one last gasp, one last chance to take this spot. I don't know if he's going to get it, man. Frazier's been awful strong in front.
is looking as they head in towards 12, and Fraser, no real issues. Traffic in front, though, is Tony Tiolis on the inside, and that's going to rob any opportunity of a move for Nicola Kochi, relying on mistakes at the Mid-Ohio S corner of turn 15. Not going to happen. Kochi got back. That was crucial, but just not close enough, Sean.
Nope. Just a little bit too much ground to make up there at the end. A little bit of traffic saves the day there for Fraser. What a great run by Adam Fraser today.
What a great run from Robert Simpkins here, who will be the last vehicle on the leading lap. Get this, just 7 vehicles on the leading lap, and Robert Simpkins will be the last one. So here we go. The last driver across the line. What a drive from Robert Simpkins. 18th to 7th, plus 11. How many days do you get to say plus 11, Sean?
Not many, Jake. Not many at all.
Well, I know I've never had a plus 11 in my career,
No,
maybe because
either,
I'm an awful driver.
Yeah.
But we're going to step aside for one moment. When we come back, the post-race show here on the Global Sim Racing channel from Barber Motorsports Park. Well, it seems that every single race that we're going to be seeing here on this Sunday, the 21st of January, is going to be everything to do with excitement. And that bodes very well for the GSRC calendar later on today, as we have had a real classic showdown between some great drivers here today. And well, the rundown of the field, well, it's going to be just like this. The preacher, Juha Noralampi, holds off 5th to 1st. The man was on a mission, and the mission was complete. He beats Michel Vandenberg by just 0.8 of a second. Gerd Hoferer, a chance, but it was always ever going to be outside in third. Matt Wood then from pole position bottles another race in fourth there, with Adam Fraser holding off a hard-charging Nicola Cochi, who made a couple of mistakes today, in sixth. Robert Simpkins, great drive from him today to seventh, with the banker, Daniel Banker, there in eighth position. Mark Winfield rounds out 9, and we're already through vehicles one lap down. Keith Herner rounds out the top 10.
All right, and then we go on to 11th. It's going to be Tony Teolis. Adnan Dezdarevic there in 12th. 13th, going to go to Fabio Guerrero. Jason Wallet there in 14th. 15th, Richard Borchers. Daniele Gattuso, 16th. 17th, Robert Cottle. Thomas Hedstrom, 18th. 19th, going to go to Andrew Eng. That was the little engine that could, man. Andrew kept it out there and recovered from some damage early and finishes 19th. Matt O'Donnell in 20th. Jake, I'll take the rest real quick. Pablo Suarez, 21st, 22nd. Pablo Alberton, Kendrick Taylor, 23rd, 24. Barry West. Fabian Gerber with a tough one today, 25th. Steve Sarles, 26th, and 27. QC Clapp. All those guys involved in that opening lap incident, Jake.
Well, it's really a big race when you see drivers like QC Clapp, who are traditionally finishers, not finish. It's a big race when even the true racer, that is Matt O'Donnell, doesn't finish a race. But that won't matter completely at all for the driver who won this event today. It's the preacher himself, Juha Noralampi. He's standing by with Sean.
And we have him here. Yeah, there he is. Juha, congratulations on a win. And I know your appearances have been few and far between this season, but you've got to be happy about this one. You had to really earn it.
Yeah, Sean, thanks very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. You sound great, my friend.
And you always. Okay, so yes, I didn't practice so much this week because I'm still at this flu. You are going to get bored with me because I'm always at the flu. Okay, but nevertheless, I get a good start from the 5th place. And well, it was interesting because all the guys were very similar pace. And I think we are 5 to 6 guys. And it was very hard to think even that I could overtake there anymore, that I could be just 4th. But luckily there was some happening in the front, and I think Matt made some mistake there, and 2 guys got lucky and overtook him, and I was also going past him, but I don't know, he just slipped a little bit there and hit me, and I then had to go back, and well, he was a gentleman and he led me by, and that was very kind to do. And then I was able to be the 3rd place, and then, well, it was interesting to chase those guys and just look at that if they could make some mistake or something else, and it paid out for me very well.
Yeah, and you know what, this track, not very easy to make passes on. It seems like you're constantly searching for an opportunity to make that pass, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. I had a good pace, race pace, and even though I didn't practice very much, I was very confident with my car, and I was just looking to make some nervous, make guys too nervous, break and then take a chance. But well, it was my luck today that I didn't make so huge mistakes, and guys did. And I think there was these lapped cars that took Gerd and Michael by surprise a little bit, and I was able to take advantage of that. And that's a racing, but not so good to overtake because of that. But I just had to be sometimes very hard.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was fun to watch. It was really fun watching you battle and get those spots away and find yourself here at the top of the podium. It's a great way to wind up a Sunday for you. And next week we head on over to Oulton Park. And you have any desires to get there and run one next week?
Well, I'm so much looking forward to get well again and get rid of this sorry, bloody flu, and I hope that next week I could be a little bit more better out to practice. And Oldham Park is a very good place to race, I think, and I have been always there very fast, and I'm looking forward to those top guys again, Nuno and Kalle and Sergio perhaps, and perhaps Gernot and other guys to join us next week. And I hope that they have made a good result there at 24-hour Daytona race.
Well, I don't think Nuno got quite the result he was looking for. We were actually racing with him in the second split, and wanted to talk to him about maybe a loan to help make a few repairs to our body panels on our C7. We managed to find him on track last night, but no, it was all fun. It was a great time, and boy, always a great time talking to you, and we're really looking forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you very much, Sean, and thanks for the great work that you guys are doing. Bye-bye.
All right, and that was the preacher, Juha Norlampi. Boy, big stuff for him today. Great to see him come out and get a victory here at Barber Motorsports Park.
And from one end of the field, we're going to go to the other because Barry West, that was a lap and a bit, wasn't it?
I think it wasn't even a lap, was it? I didn't get back to turn one. I thought I'd just come and give you my perspective. I really love this track. I mean, I was going really well all week, and this was going to be the big one because everybody was away at Daytona. So I thought, definitely on for a P6, I'm sure. Good results the 3 previous races. And I read all the mayhem in front of me and took to the grass, 2 wheels on the grass, chugged along. The car started porpoising, so I was feathering the throttle just gradually, and then came into turn 1, and the front wheel, as I was coming back on the track, caught there's a concrete runoff area, and it just seemed to kick the car, or it must have back wheel, just kicked the car to the left, and of course Daniel was coming up the inside and pushed me off into the wall, and that was it. Suspension damage. I was out. I'm glad that he continued though, and managed to finish the race and get some good points. But yes, what could have been one of those days.
And it's not often that you talk about pandemonium at the start of a race, and Richard Borchers really did put a few cats amongst the pigeons at the beginning. So, you know, in terms of when you get into a situation like that, is there a lot of lottery that comes around from getting around an incident that happened so early in a race when nobody's expecting it?
I usually can read them, and I'd always looking at the start, 2 or 3 cars in front, and I saw as soon as I started going that there was a car across the track, and read which way he was going, and I took to the grass early enough and missed it. You always dread somebody ploughing into the back of you, and I think people don't slow down as much as they should. Obviously, it's the start of the race, everybody wants to try and gain in position, but it's obviously much better to finish the race. Yeah, so I just feel I'm probably too cautious sometimes at the start of races, but if there's an opportunity, you take it. But yeah, I didn't know anybody was on the inside of me, even when the car kicked to the left and Daniel was there. Because I saw there was I think it was a McLaren on the left of me, and the track seemed empty, but of course he must have been in the blind spot. But yeah, one of those things. Just got around that corner, and definitely on. I mean, the qualifying time was reasonable, 12.5, I think. So yeah, if you do that pace in the race, I would have been up with Nicola and was it Adam? I think.
Yep.
And the races before, I've been qualified just behind. Well, it should have been my best lap. And I've had to stay behind a car for 20 laps. I had a really good race with Pablo, and 20 laps and just pressure. So I can drive without making mistakes at that pace. It was just having to force a mistake from the car in front because it's so difficult to pass here. But yeah, it looked like a good race from your point of view, from the 3 guys at front were having a good race.
Yeah, it was a very fun race overall. But of course, we're heading back to Blighty. We're heading up to Oulton Park. And well, another circuit which is quite difficult to really make the moves on. Oulton Park, how are you feeling heading towards there?
Oh, there's a lovely track. It's built for this car, actually, Holden Park. It's just, it's got to be one of the best track car combos on iRacing, I think. Beautiful track. Is it the long version we're doing down the hairpin? No chicanes, is there? No.
I'm not the person to be talking about that. Understanding. But anyway, Mr. Barry West having a fantastic corner, shall we say, today, as he tried to make everything happen for him. Didn't quite work out the way that he would have wanted that to happen. And well, Sean, we've got a banker in the town.
We do, and Daniel Banker in here with us, and boy, what a run for you, Daniel. You come home 8th, starting 14th. That was a pretty exciting race, and a lot of trouble to avoid there on that opening, well, from the grid, basically. Dan, your mic's muted. Go ahead and unmute that real quick for us, and we'll catch up with you here. There we go. Have you got me, Dan? Make sure you enable your mic there, Dan, and try us back.
Doesn't look like it's happening, and that's unfortunate, but sometimes that's the way it goes, Sean, isn't it?
Sometimes it is. Yeah, Dan. All right. Well, maybe we'll get that right next time. We'll give him a shot to come back. Dan, run this race again next week, and boy, come on back. We'll get you hooked up and get you in here.
No worries at all about that. But unfortunately, on a slightly sadder note there, that's all we're going to have time for here this afternoon on the Global Sim Racing channel. I want to give a massive thanks to all the drivers, all the teams, and all of you who have been watching at home. Massive thanks have to go to the CTC Championship, the Classic Teams Championship, for their stunning battles and their decision to fly GSRC. Thank yous also have to go out to the company's equipment and software that have been involved or affiliated with this afternoon's broadcast. And of course, we'd also like to thank Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde for the music that you have heard this afternoon. Details on how to contact them are on screen right now. And speaking of contacts, if you are wishing to have your series broadcast, or you just want to find out when the next dose of sim racing action or otherwise is live, hop over to globalsimracingchannel.com or check us up on social media with the Twitter handle @GSR Channel, or catch us on Facebook as the Global Sim Racing Channel. It'll be a trip over the Atlantic back to Blighty as we're heading from Leeds to Liverpool at Oulton Park for round 7. But as always, that has been Sean Ambrose, that has been Amjad Yamin, and that has also been the man who some say planted the spider that sat down beside Miss Muffet so he could have some curds and whey. That is Dougie Beard. I have been #YouMindJake Sperry, and while the preacher picked up the mantle, shall we say, he managed to get himself to the front, he managed to get himself to win, but that was because the big boys were away and they will want to play when it comes to Liverpool, when it comes to Oulton Park. But as always, remember, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.